These are this afternoon's top stories. Ministry of Health is prepared in case of a storm. Foreign envoys pledge support for Guyana, and deadly sinkhole reappears in Florida. Good afternoon and welcome to the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Today is Thursday, 20th August 2015. I'm Carla Berridge. In national news, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Andrew Skerritt, says his ministry has proper emergency plans in effect pending a disaster. Skerritt says the health institutions which already have their plans of action in place are Pogson Medical Center, JNF General Hospital, the Cadden Home and the Mary Charles Hospital.
In the event of the hurricane, of course, we put the plans in place, which will include only critically ill patients would stay at the hospital. There's an assessment done immediately before, and of course the ones that aren't too critical are sent home. All the patients are housed in one ward, usually one or two medical and maternity, so that to get some control as to what's happening in our hospital is an open facility. The intensive care always is functional no matter what. He said in the event of an emergency, a special team of healthcare workers, including theater workers and doctors, will be immediately called out and assigned to work during the storm. As it relates to uninterrupted services at the major hospitals, the Permanent Secretary said there are generators there as well as a good supply of water. There's a 60,000 gallon water supply at Joseph and France. There's also extra water supply at Pogson Medical Center. We had that installed a year and a half, 2 years ago as part of this smart hospital project. This water is tested by our environmental health officers on a regular basis. So we do have backup water at the two main institutions, and of course smaller ones at the Mary Charles Hospital. Skerritt said there are also adequate medical supplies and the protocol has been set for securing vaccines and medication. He added that before the storm they will seek assistance from parks and beaches in pruning trees. Minister of Education, the Honorable Sean Richards, says as part of the plan to relocate the students and staff of the Bastia High School, the government has put an end to the shift system with the Washington Archibald High School. Minister Richards noted that the shift system brought several challenges.
Noteworthy is the reduction of teacher to student contact time, decreased participation in extracurricular activities, and growing concern by parents of the limited supervision of children. Therefore, it is the aim of this government to bring an end to the shift system.
He said for the time being, the staff and students will be using temporary accommodations at various locations. The first farmers and staff will use the Warner Park Cricket Stadium. The second farmers are likely to be located at the Methodist School Room. Third farmers will be housed in an already constructed wooden building that will be moved from the grounds of Bastia High School to the parking lot of the Washington Archibald High School. The fourth farmers will use Washington Archibald High, and the fifth farmers will continue to use the spaces at the Premier Dental Building. In 2008, Sandy Point resident Serena captured the crown at the Smith Caribbean Talented Teen Pageant, making her the first Kititian to secure the title in 10 years. This week, we spoke with Warner in an exclusive interview to hear what she's been up to since.
Pageantry is not just about beauty, it sort of builds you. And so, having entered those pageants doesn't mean that, oh, I'll be stuck at pageantry only. I've decided to go off and further my education, and so I'm pursuing a degree in communication, and that is why I'm here with you guys at ZIZ today.
Warner is a student at the University of the Virgin Islands and has used the summer break to work as an intern at ZIZ Broadcasting Corporation. While speaking with reporter J.D. Keynes, she explained her present focus and why she chose to be an intern at ZIZ.
It has been really good exposure, JD. I was able to get a touch of everything. Working with you guys has been an eye-opening experience. I've only been able to do one semester, and the scope of work that I've been doing here at ZIZ, I think it's definitely going to prepare me for when I return to school. I think I'll be one step ahead of the other students. I intend to come back and contribute well to my country in terms of mass communication, public relations, anything along that line.
Warner said she intends to contribute to the country upon completion of her degree. On the regional scene, the new Canadian High Commissioner and Chile's first resident ambassador have both pledged continued support for Guyana as they prepare to take up their official post there. Details in this report.
Canada is committed to strengthening its diplomatic relations with Guyana, according to newly accredited Canadian High Commissioner to Guyana, Pierre Giroux. High Commissioner Giroux said Canada was encouraged by Guyana's trade and investment framework.
We also welcome your commitment to establish a constitutionally mandated Public Procurement Commission to oversee public procurement and ensure transparency and fair treatment in the competitive market. Mr. President, Canada and Guyana's relationship has a rich history of strong people-to-people link, shared commercial interests, developing cooperation in diplomatic ties. Canada and Guyana share many similarities. Both countries are blessed with remarkable natural beauty and abundant natural resources to provide the foundation for our economies. Canada is willing to provide expertise and support in sharing experiences with Guyana the sustainable development of these resources.
President Granger said the High Commissioner's accreditation was taking place at an important time in Guyana's history, as there is a new administration, and for the first time in Guyana there is a six-party coalition government in office. According to him, there is much to be done and much to be achieved.
We recognize the many challenges ahead as a small developing nation striving to accelerate economic growth and development in an increasingly unfavorable and unpredictable international environment. This, together with the emergence of increasing threats to our sovereignty and territorial integrity, has made the quest for sustainable development even more challenging. The government of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, however, with the support of our friends and like-minded nations, remains deeply committed in its efforts to reduce poverty and unemployment and to provide a better standard of living for all Guyanans.
Meanwhile, President Granger today welcomed Chile's first resident ambassador to Guyana, Claudio Rojas. Ambassador Rojas, in presenting his instrument, said Chile was committed to deepening and fostering diplomatic relations with Guyana. Both High Commissioner Giroux and Ambassador Rojas, prior to presenting their instruments, laid wreaths at the Independence Monument. Reporting for Capital News, I'm for Wharton.
The Eastern Caribbean Collective Organization, ECCO, held an interactive meeting with each of the 9 territories where they operate. The ECCO spoke on strategies to ensure all businesses attain their license to utilize music within their establishments.
This was the 6th annual general meeting for the Eastern Caribbean Collective Organization for Music Rights, ECHO. The meeting brought together music rights organizations throughout the Caribbean for the one-day tete-a-tete. It highlighted the agency's accomplishments in licensing different agencies that utilize the intellectual property of music artists across the region. ECHO General Manager Steve Atian says the company is honing in on certain businesses, reminding these enterprises that they are obligated to attain a license.
Revenue continue to increase. Our collection, our license in Rich extended to an extra 12% increase from last year. So probably around about $1,150,000 was collected by ECHO. It was not just St. Lucia, it was across the wide ECHO territories.
ECHO took the decision to have 2 general and broadcasting distribution of funds per annum. However, the agency usually pays out larger sums collected from events like music festivals.
Currently, we pay that out once a year. We'll now be making distributions in July as well as December, in addition to, of course, our live distribution, which we make periodically anyway. You will, of course, realize that we made a live distribution only recently, paying out royalties earned from St. Kitts Music Festival, St. Lucia Jazz, Carnival, as well as the World Creole Music Festival.
Atian says he is pleased with the response and feedback from the Caribbean counterparts. He says it is a testing time for the music licensing watchdog since its establishment in 2009. ECHO operates in 9 countries within the Caribbean region. Rihani Isidore, HTS News Force.
Internationally, a deadly sinkhole near Tampa reappeared in the same spot where a sleeping man was swallowed in 2013. While plans to fill the hole are underway, residents are concerned it could spread. Emerald Morrow reports from Sefna, Florida.
people who live in this neighborhood say they are shocked to see this sinkhole reappear, and they're concerned that it could spread. This new sinkhole has shaken neighbors.
That kind of made you unsettled because you think, you know, it could happen anywhere else around here.
But officials say the surrounding community is safe.
We've had the engineering firm out here to evaluate it, and the most important thing is that there is no danger to any other homes.
Jeremy Bush got emotional when talking about his brother Jeffrey, who was killed in the very same spot almost 2.5 years ago.
And I think about it every day. There ain't a day that goes by that I don't think about it.
On February 28, 2013, Jeffrey was asleep in his bedroom when the earth started to collapse underneath the home. Jeremy was also home and heard his brother screaming for help. He jumped into the growing sinkhole to try and save him, but could not reach his brother. Jeremy was rescued by a sheriff's deputy. Jeffrey's body was never found.
I come back here every day to be by my brother. I didn't get to say bye to him.
The Bush home, along with 2 neighboring houses, were demolished afterwards. The hole was filled with gravel and the area fenced off.
Reunion is a French territory east of Madagascar. 5 years ago, 40% of Reunion was named a UNESCO World Heritage Site and turned into a national park. Its special status attracts tourists, but farmers who live in the park are now being forced to change their way of life. Al Jazeera's Tina Page reports from Reunion.
3 generations of Gerard Begg's family have farmed this land, high in the misty mountains of Reunion. The area's unique natural beauty is recognised as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, but 5 years after becoming a UNESCO park, the Beggs say its problems haven't been solved.
Il fallait absolument le fait de travailler dans la nature et être dans la forêt.
We live in the park. There's some pollution from hunting and rubbish, but we're helpless to stop it. We thought the park would change that problem, but nothing has happened, and now there are more rules to live by.
The Beggs are farming outside the rules. They are suspicious about why they haven't been certified by the park's managers.
The
risk is that the park wants there to be a lodge in the place where my farm is.
More lodges may be needed to cater for the predicted rise in the number of tourists attracted by the park's UNESCO status. There's plenty to see on the volcanic island, from soaring peaks and waterfalls to rainforest and beaches. The National Park President says there needs to be a balance between preserving nature's beauty and satisfying the people who live in it.
The park has a living heart. Hundreds of people live inside it, which is rare for a World Heritage Site. It was the people's choice for it to be like that. In every life there are rules. Living with the UNESCO means respect between people and nature.
Taking a look at the weather. Skies today and tonight will be partly cloudy to cloudy with brief passing showers. However, forecast for the Eastern Caribbean says a weak tropical wave will generate cloudiness and showers as far south as Trinidad and Tobago, from as far north as Hispaniola today and tonight. The Met Office is saying that a new isolated thunderstorm could also develop, which will trigger a few cloudy spells with scattered showers. Seas are moderate with waves up to 5 feet, and temperatures are expected to reach a record of 83 degrees Fahrenheit. That brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more in detail. Thank you for joining us. I'm Callum Berridge.